is Valley News Live at 5.
We're beginning with new information surrounding a murder investigation that we've been following for you for nearly a month. Savannah Graywin's boyfriend has been awarded full custody over their daughter, Hazley Joe. Ashton Matheny finally has the opportunity to feel like a dad after a custody hearing earlier today. Hazley Joe has been in his care for about a week after a DNA test confirmed she is his and Savannah Graywin's child. The baby was placed in protective custody after she was found in the apartment of a man and a woman who are facing charges related to Graywin's murder. While Matheny is still struggling with pain, today the fight is over. Foster care was dismissed and he gained full legal custody over baby Hazley Joe. His lawyer tells us he can finally act like a normal dad.
You can relate because you have that love and you can understand what a parent is going through, but I think it's hard to relate just given the severity and the circumstances. It's hard to understand what somebody's even went through in that circumstance.
Graywin's family tells us they have a good working relationship with Matheny. He brought Hazley Joe over to Graywin's parents' house for Grandparents' Day over the weekend. The official spokesperson for the family says Matheny has certainly proven himself as a loving father. Meanwhile, people living in the building where Savannah Graywin was last seen alive are pushing back against an online petition to tear down the building that they call home. Nearly 2,000 people have signed an online petition to tear down the apartment building in North Fargo. But those who live in the building say tearing it down won't erase the crime and believe efforts would be better focused on putting up a memorial for Savannah Graywin. Police believe Graywin was killed for her unborn child, who survived. 2 people have lived in the building, who did live in the building, have been charged in her death. With the warm weather today, we had a shot at hitting record highs today. Hutch, did we make it?
The records are rolling in as we speak, and taking a look at the temperatures right now, Grand Forks, the latest reading shows you two have set a new record for the state. 94 there, the old record 93. Fargo's old record was 90. We hit 93 and climbing. It's 94, also a record in Jamestown. So the heat is on. A look at the heat out to the west. 94 Dickinson, 95 Bismarck, and Pierre, South Dakota at 99. A few thunderstorms rumbling through southwestern South Dakota, but high and dry here. Through the evening hours, we're going to see temperatures in the 80s. We'll dip down into the 70s after bedtime tonight. So a warm one indeed. We have another hot day to talk about before some significant change comes our way. Details in a few minutes.
All right, thank you so much, Hutch. The impact of the Equifax hack could be hitting close to home for hundreds of thousands of people in North Dakota. The North Dakota Attorney General says that more than 248,000 people in the state could be affected by the data breach, and he's urging people to take immediate steps to protect against identity theft. The hack could put your names, dates of birth, social security numbers, addresses, and even credit card numbers at risk. Officials say putting a fraud alert on your accounts warns companies of possible unauthorized use of your information, and it lasts for 90 days. They also recommend you check Equifax's website to determine if you are affected. You also have the option of putting a security freeze on your credit report. We've got links and instructions on how to check if you have been impacted on our website. All you have to do is click on this story at valleynewslive.com. We're also following a new development in the deadly shooting of an unarmed woman in the Twin Cities. The investigation into the shooting death of Justine Damond is now finished, and the case has now been turned over to the county attorney for possible charges. Back in July, Officer Mohammed Noor and his partner were responding to a 911 call from Damond regarding a suspected sexual assault in an alley near her South Minneapolis home. Noor shot Damond as she was standing next to their patrol car. Hennepin County Attorney Mike Freeman has said he expects to decide on charges before the end of the year. During a meeting in Minneapolis Sunday, Freeman said the shooting of Damond, quote, didn't have to happen. The case sparked outrage in the community that led to the resignation of the Minneapolis police chief. Nearly 800 Cass County Electric customers in South Fargo are now experiencing a power outage. The cause is unknown at this time. This after the power was turned back on for nearly 900 others that lost it this afternoon. It happened about 2:30 in an area north of 13th Avenue up to Main Avenue and west of Cheyenne Street. Power was restored to all customers by 3:15 p.m. That includes Westside Elementary in West Fargo. The outage was caused by a contractor digging in the area. Further west, another power outage occurred after a dump truck hit power lines on Highway 52, northwest of Jamestown. It happened about 12:30 this afternoon. The driver failed to lower the dump box when leaving a gravel yard and hit 4 power lines, severing 2 of them and causing a massive outage for customers of Otter Tail Power. That includes rural Gackle, Streeter, Eldridge, Windsor, Medina, Montpelier, and others. There's no word yet on whether power has been restored in those areas. How old should you be in order to buy cigarettes? In a majority of the country, it's 18, but 4 states, California, Hawaii, Maine, and Oregon, along with 2 cities in Minnesota, Edina and St. Louis Park, have bumped that age up to 21. And now a city in our area is trying to do the same. Valley News Team's Cornelius Hawker is in Detroit Lakes, where the city just opened up public comment about changing their tobacco ordinance. Cornelius, what's the latest?
Hey, Andrea, the latest is there are still people filing in, people who support raising the age to 21 and people who don't support it. Now, those who don't support it say raising the age to buy tobacco to 21 is going to hurt small businesses. And theoretically, if a business owner is under the age of 21, they could actually get in trouble for buying tobacco for their business. Now, those who support raising the age up to 21 say that it is the best way to reduce smoking rates in young people. We're going to have what the city is going to do with all these public comments coming up on Valley News Live 10 at 10, and I'll be having updates for you over on our Facebook page as well. Andrea, back to you.
All right, we look forward to it. Thank you, Cornelius. And again, he mentioned on Valley News Live at 9 on Fargo CW and 10 at 10. We'll tell you what the City Council decides to do after hearing all of the public comments. A changing of the guard for the top spot in the Grand Forks School District. Dr. Larry Nyblad has announced that he'll be retiring from the superintendent position. Nyblad started as a teacher and football coach in Tolna, North Dakota, and then worked his way up to being the superintendent of Moorhead Schools before taking the job in Grand Forks 10 years ago. He says in around 30 years in education, he has seen more challenges for young people with social issues.
Just the kinds of things in society that are confronting young people, you know, whether it be bullying or suicide prevention or issues with social media or substance use and abuse. I think those are things that we really need to be addressing.
Nyblad says he will stay on as superintendent until June 30th of next year. After that, he's planning to spend more time with his 10 grandkids. The search for a new superintendent will begin in the coming weeks. NDSU students will soon have a new place to live on campus with construction underway for a new dorm. It's being built just south of Newman Outdoor Field, where the Bison baseball team and the Redhawks play. It's going to be a big building, one that'll help address student housing needs. School officials say the 148,000 square foot dorm will have space for more than 400 beds using a double room suite concept. President Dean Brishani says the new dorm is not only aimed at housing, but also academics.
What we know is that students who live on campus perform dramatically better on an academic level than students who don't live on campus.
The nearly $40 million co-ed building is scheduled to open in the fall of 2019. Believe it or not,